Well, that said, let's get to our next management, that of Laurus Laboratories. The numbers actually have looked encouraging. Mr. Chava, the founder and CEO of the company, joins us on the show. Hi, Mr. Chava. Good morning. Good to see you again. Well, after many quarters of, trying to find out whether or not the best is ahead, you've started delivering very good numbers now. And the street appreciates that because your margin numbers have now held steady at around that mid-20s mark. But let's get a couple of queries out of the way. The CDMO business, well, from being around 10-12% of the business, it's moved to around 30%. You're clocking close to around 500 crores on a quarterly run rate now. You've mentioned that you want this number to go towards 50% contribution. Could you tell us, in the near term though, for FY26, how much will the CDMO business contribute as a percentage of the mix? And also your gross margins, earlier you were talking around 55%, now you're talking about 55 to 60%. For this year, FY26, what should we work with? Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. As we have demonstrated the quality of business, our gross margins were always between 55, 57 in the previous quarter. This quarter, because of higher revenue contribution coming from CDMO, the margins were over 59% now. Looking at the prospects, what we have, and we estimate the gross margins will remain between 55 to 60%. Primarily because of higher contribution coming from non-ARV and also increasing revenue share coming from CDMO. CDMO, as you have mentioned, in 2021 financial year, our revenues of CDMO was 500 crores. Now, we were able to move towards 500 crores per quarter. And we estimate the run rate looking good. As you are aware, CDMO business is bumpy, but for the entire year, we expect the CDMO revenue contribution will be over 30% for the entire year.
Dr. Chava, hi, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Prashant here. We, of course, discussed the CDMO broader opportunity on that program some time back. But we're sticking to numbers here, right? So there is a bit of a, if I can put it that way, there is a bit of a one-off, right? The cepiapterin supplies in Q1, that is responsible for this 130% jump in CDMO revenues. So it's kind of front-loaded, and these revenues may not reoccur. So could you tell us what are the revenues we should work with for the next 2 quarters?
For the entire year, you can assume we will do closer to 2,000 crores CDMO. I will not give you quarter-wise as you have asked, but we supplied 3 NCEs in the last 2 quarters for commercial supplies. That will continue. So we don't have any one-offs. See, when the molecule goes commercial, they will continue to buy. So they may not buy every quarter, but they continue to buy. So we have a very good pipeline in CDMO, and we expect the traction will continue.
So 2,000 crores, fair enough. We'll work with that number. That's what is useful. You said gross margins, as we pointed out, right? I mean, up big time. And you're saying we should be in this 55 to 60% range, right? Even without this cepiapterin contribution. What about EBITDA margins, sir? I think they were kind of flat even as gross margins expanded because of higher employee expenses. Could you give us a sense on the EBITDA front?
See, last year we did close to 20% for the entire year. This year we believe we will be at least 25% EBITDA margins.
FY26, 25% EBITDA margins?
Yeah, around 20%.
Okay. Mr. Chava, you said you've signed 2 new deals for NCEs. Is that what you said? If I heard you correctly?
We supplied.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much of the current CDMO traction, as if you can tell us on a broad business basis, is tied to early stage molecules, etc., and how much is kind of sort of close to commercialization and sort of, more mature things? If you can give us a state of play at Laurus right now.
Majority of our CDMO revenues are late phase or commercial. So the revenue contribution coming from phase 1 preclinical is not that significant.
Okay. Okay. It's majority all mature and late stage
Yes.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Got that.
Okay, all right. Mr. Chava, I wanted to ask you a question from an industry perspective as well. And since we get to speak to you once a quarter, have you seen any impact to the biotech funding slowdown in the United States? And what could the potential impact be on your business?
See, most of our revenue coming from big pharma, where they have a strong pipeline and they are not worried about funding. As I mentioned, our revenue share coming from small and virtual biotech is not that significant. So any increase or decrease in funding to biotech is not going to impact us significantly.
Sir, just a question. I mean, just to understand your exposure to various geographies, I imagine US is still a very big part of it. But what about UK, where, for instance, now we have an FTA? So I was reading a note which was talking about pharma as being a next big opportunity for the UK because the tariffs have come down so dramatically and our share of exports in terms of the UK pharma market is minuscule right now. There's also the US-EU FTA. So all of these new alliances, I mean, can you tell us if that materially has any positive impact at a margin level or at a pricing level for you?
Our formulation sales in Europe are not that significant. Majority of our European sale coming from our CMO revenues. So we don't have any negative or positive impact at this juncture.
Got that. Could you, Dr. Chava, talk to us again, just to go back to the CDMO business, could you talk to us about the opportunity from, if I've got this correct, this is a painkiller basically, right? Non-opioid painkiller, Suzetrigine. What is the readiness to produce? I think tenders are going to be out. What is the share that you expect? Just give us some sense, sir.
We don't think any tenders for that molecule, and we can't divulge anything potential of that molecule because of confidential agreements.
So, sorry, you're saying there are no tenders at this point?
That business is in US, so there are no tenders. So you might be referring to some analyst report. They have added two sentences together. That's the reason you are thinking this. And ARV's tenders, and this has no tenders.
No, this is Vertex's Suzetrigine, right? This is the painkiller where you are apparently, I mean, at least that's what reports say, that you're helping them make it. You're involved in some of the processes. Is that correct?
I think based what market predicts, may be right.
Okay, all right. So very, very quickly, before we let you go, it's been a good start to the year. You have helped us out with most of those numbers. 5,500 crores you did last year. After this good start, what should the broad range be on the top line growth for the year?
As we are not giving any top line...
broad numbers. So can you keep up the momentum we have seen in first quarter?
Hopefully.
So that will be roughly 30% then. That's the derivation that we get from that comment. Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Chava.
Now, can I just, sorry, 1 minute. Dr. Chava, sorry to come back. I just want you cannot talk about it, right? That's what you're saying about this molecule, about this drug.
See, because of the confidentialities and all, we can't talk. See, I think people are arriving at numbers and quantities and supplies based on the export numbers. I think we'll leave it to them. So beyond that, we can't comment.
I see. Okay. Point taken. I mean, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Thank you very much, Dr. Chava. Appreciate you joining us as always. That is Laurus for you, but